Hey guys, it's Elisa, and today I have my October wrap-up. So, in the month of October, I read 7 books, and I was super amazed just because it took me 2 weeks to read The Raven Boys. So, you can just imagine, I literally read 6 books in 2 weeks, and I'm amazed at myself for doing that. So, the first book that I went ahead and read was The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. This book, I went ahead and gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And I was really surprised with it just because it was really slow for me at first. Like, it felt like it was taking forever to read. Aside from me going obsessive with watching Sons of Anarchy, this book was a little slow. So I would read like a couple chapters because I would kind of be like, when is something going to happen? And I would put it down and I would end up getting engulfed in TV and I would forget about the book. And then it got to a point where it just got really good and really interesting, and I wanted to know what was going to happen with these people. Like, I wanted to know what was going to happen with Blue and Gansey and Adam and Rowan and Noah, and finding out all these things and discovering, and it was just like, oh my gosh. And then, I mean, I'm a girl and I want to know what the heck is going to happen with Gansey and Blue because that's who I want to be together. I don't like Adam. I don't want him with Blue. But I really, really enjoyed it. I was super surprised with it. And then I was like, do I want to read the second one? Do I want to wait? And I was kind of like up in the air. And because I wanted a little bit more of a romance in the book, which it's okay that it's not. I don't need every book to have romance, but I personally just wanted a little bit of romance in my life at the time. So I went ahead and moved on to Treasure Your Love by J.C. Reid. This is the third and final book in the Surrender Your Love trilogy. It follows Jet and Brooke on their ongoing relationship and, what's going on, if they're going to be together, are they going to get married, what about the baby, and who's the bad guy, basically. Because I did read book 1 and 2 back a couple months ago. I can't remember when, but it was like, I want to say 3 months ago maybe. And I really enjoyed those 2 stories, like, so much. This one kind of confused me a little bit because I was like, what's going on? What is picking up? And I was just a little confused. And I remembered the story pretty well, but I was kind of thrown off at first, like at the beginning. Like, I felt like I was trying to learn like a whole new story or like new characters, which was really, really weird. But as it progressed, it finally got back into the groove of what I was used to with Jet and Brooke and the whole mystery and the romance and everything like that. So I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars just because it was okay. It wasn't up to par with book 1 and 2 in my opinion, but I'm still interested enough that I will go ahead and read like the next cycle of the stories from what the author says that there's gonna be like the after, like, I guess like the baby part and the wedding part and stuff like that. I have no idea, but I'm interested enough that I'm gonna go ahead and invest in the next book. After that, I decided I did want to go ahead and read the second book in the Raven cycle. So I did go ahead and pick up The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater, and I was excited for this book. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't as slow as the beginning of The Raven Boys in my opinion, just because maybe I was more excited to read it than I was The Raven Boys. I read The Raven Boys just because going to the Austin Teen Book Festival and everything like that, like seeing Maggie Stiefvater, like I wanted to read the book. So I think that's what it was. With The Dream Thieves, I was super excited because I wanted to know what was going to happen with the gang. Like, what's going on with Gansey and Adam after everything that happens at the end of The Raven Boys. Like, I wanted to know what was going on. So I read it. I really enjoyed it. I read it faster than what I did the Raven Boys. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars because I love the twists and turns. I love that my emotions were on a roller coaster, and I love that about a book. So I really enjoyed The Dream Thieves. I enjoy the whole series as a whole. I can't wait for book 3. I want to know what's going to happen with Gansey and Blue. I'm sorry, I already mentioned it. I'm a sucker for them and I want to know more. So the next book that I went ahead and read was Freeing by E.K. Blair. This is a companion to Fading. It is considered, I guess, like a novella because it's labeled 1.5. on Goodreads, so I don't know. This book follows Chase. If you guys have read Fading, which I hope you do because I really love it. I had a giveaway for it. Anyways, so this follows Chase. He is Candace's best friend from book 1. We learn more about him, about his struggles, like his family life is not that great, and trying to figure out his sexuality is the only word that I can use because that's the truth. Okay, so if you guys, this is a spoiler alert, like, spoiler if you haven't read Fading. Well, okay, so it's not really a spoiler because I won't say it out loud. I've mentioned it in Fading, so if you go see that video, then it's not a spoiler. But in Fading, Candace is brutalized. She's attacked. Okay, so the only person that she tells what's happening is Chase. So in Freeing, I see that part in Chase's perspective, and it is just as emotional. It is just as heart-wrenching. Like, I was bawling so much, and that's because I thought just reading it from Candace's perspective, like being like a, one-on-one account of it, was like heartbreaking. Hearing, like, looking at it through Chase's perspective and having him to see her and what was going on and how she was reacting to all of her surroundings and everything that was going on was so heart-wrenching. I couldn't take it. I was like bawling, and I remembered the story, and like I knew what she was thinking because of, reading the other story, and it was just, I was like so emotionally drained at that part, but I couldn't put it down. I continued because we got to see him like worry a lot for her, but also him grow as a character, him grow as a person, him realizing what his wants are and needs in life, like what he wants to keep in his heart, like the people he wants close to him. And it was a really great book on there, but it does touch on his sexuality, so I don't know if some people have a problem with that. So I just want to kind of let you know that that's in the book. So I ended up giving it 5 out of 5 stars because I loved the emotions in the book. Like, from the happy times to the sad times to the frustrating times to the heartbreak of relationships and stuff like that. I really, really enjoyed it. I could not put it down. I cannot wait for the next book that E.K. Blair writes. She is amazing. I love her writing. After that, I went ahead and I finally picked up Origin by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And OMG, I could not believe this story. I was so amazed. I literally did not go to sleep. I started it at 1 o'clock in the morning and I did not finish it until like 8 a.m. or something like that, or maybe 9. I could not put the book down. I read the whole thing from start to finish in one sitting. I was so tired the next day. I was running on, I think, like 2 hours of sleep, but no one can judge me for that because it is such a flipping amazing book, and I need to do Why I Love the Lux series video. Like, I need to go back and do that. But I loved the dual perspectives of Damon and Kat. I was, oh my god, I want a boy like that. I was so happy. I don't know what to tell you guys without ruining anything. Like, with this story, like, you guys need to go read it. That's all I can tell you, because anything I say with this being book 4 is gonna ruin everything. But I went through so many fields. I went through so many fields. I was so excited. I was super happy. I was gushing. I was I was all over the place with emotions in this book. Though the one thing I hate are the cliffhangers. Why do you do this? I'm so afraid for the last book. Like, I'm really afraid. Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, I hope she ends it in this nice little bubble. Like, I think in the month of November, I am going to go ahead and read her other series, the Calf Blood is what it's called, because I know that the final book on that one comes out like November 2nd. So if I start reading those books, I'll know how a ending, like how she ends a whole series. Like, I'm afraid what she's gonna do. I'm super scared. But yes, it was amazing. If you have not read the Lex series, you guys need to go read it. That's all I'm gonna tell you. You need to go read it. Of course, I give this book a 5 out of 5 stars. Okay? Okay. After that, after all that emotion, I went ahead and I picked up A Brutal Tenderness by Marata Eros. This is the second book, or it's the companion book to A Terrible Love. I read The Terrible Love, I want to say in April. I think I went on this new adult thing, like whole fling, and that's when I read it. A Brutal Tenderness follows Cass's perspective of what happened in A Terrible Love. And I liked it. I really enjoyed it because even though Cass is like this hard ass, I loved his perspective. Like, I loved his cockiness. I loved how he was fierce. I loved that he was protective to a fault. Like, sometimes it's like, whoa, but that was his job. He was an FBI agent. That's what he had to do. So I understand it, but I love his perspective. I love the extra that it gave us, because the way Terrible Love ended was like, okay, them together, obviously, but this gave us a little bit more. It gave us more. And I don't know if you guys are going to read it, so I don't want to ruin what the more is, but it gave us more, and I really, really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book that I went ahead and read was If You Leave by Courtney. This is the second book in the Beautifully Broken series, and I'm really surprised with this series because I did go ahead and read book 1, which was If You Stay. Yes. If You Stay, I read it in the month of April. I want to say, I could be wrong, but I'm more than sure it was the month of April. I read the first book in the series that follows Mila and Pax, and I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars for that book, but I was intrigued because I knew that book 2 was going to be in Mila's sister's perspective, which is Madison, and I liked her as a character in book 1, that I was really interested in wanting to read book 2, and I'm flippin' happy that I went ahead and continued the series, like that I read book 2, because it was amazing. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was so emotional. There was a lot of damage, I guess. No, baggage. That's a better word. A lot of baggage. Madison is Mila's sister. She is the owner of a little restaurant called The Hill that she took over when her parents passed away. And the male lead in the story is Gabriel. Gabriel is the brother of one of the waitresses. Madison and Gabriel meet in a very interesting way. I really like that. I like the beginning of the book and the way that they meet and everything like that. And Gabriel is ex-military. He was a ranger and he has PTSD. So you guys can understand where there's a lot of rocky situations in this story, the things, the demons that he's having to deal with. And Madison has her own, growing up in a family where she's the oldest child, so she saw a lot of the abuse that her father would deliver to her mother. So she has a lot of mixed emotions about relationships and, you know, loving her father and hating her father at the same time, and just all this baggage. And it was well written, in my opinion. I loved, because she could have made Madison seem way more messed up, and she didn't. And I like that. I mean, she didn't have to over exaggerate how it affected her, I guess is the best way for me to describe it. And with Gabriel, like, I like it as well. Like, she didn't over exaggerate his demons. Like, they were there, it gave you enough. Like, it didn't over dramatize it or anything like that. I really enjoyed it. I love the ending of the book. I cried a little. Like, I teared up. I didn't cry. I teared up a little bit because of some of the situations, and when you finally find out, like, what exactly Gabriel's demons were. It was just heartbreaking, but I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I can't wait for book 3, which is going to be in Jackie's perspective, which is Gabriel's brother, so I can't wait. I hope it's good. I'm honestly gonna read it because I want more of like Gabriel and Madison, with Jackie being Gabriel's sister. I know that they're gonna come out, so that's mainly the reason why. But I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, so yes, those are the 7 books that I read in the month of October. Have you guys read any of these books before? Are you interested in reading them? Leave it in the comments down below. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye!